Hello, everyone. Welcome to our week 4 live lesson 8. Today, we're going to talk about how energy changes when you change matter. And we're going to do this by thinking about how energy and matter change during physical changes, chemical reactions, and nuclear reactions. We're going to understand the law of conservation of energy as matter goes through these different processes. Some reminders as we begin. Make sure to check assignments from previous weeks for comments, for feedback, for questions, for suggestions. I'm giving the opportunity for you to turn in the best quality work that you can. So please take the time to check into what I'm telling you to do. If you were in the live lesson on Thursday or Friday, you do not need to do this Ed puzzle. All you need to do is mark it done on Google Classroom. However, if you would like to rewatch it because you missed something, if you weren't in the best headspace, or if you were just literally not in the live lesson, you do need to do this recorded Ed puzzle lesson now. Another reminder about Ed puzzle is to watch the whole video all the way through, or else your grade won't get recorded accurately, okay? Remember, in our live lessons, we have our 2 mutes in a boot and team chats. I hope to see you in a live lesson sometime soon. I want to give, again, continued appreciation and recognition of the hard work that you're putting in, but also want to remind you to give yourself some self-love and some gratitude because we are putting in the work and we are doing some awesome things, and I'm super, super proud of you. So let's get started by logging into Clever. Again, this is a way for me to kind of track how you're doing and for you to find pretty much every single resource that you might need. So please go log in now. This week's assignments, we are coming to the end of this week, and this is our last live lesson for the week, in which case there are 3 assignments that kind of go with this live lesson. The notes we are going to start taking together, and you are going to finish on your own. And then there will be a reflection question, number 19, and number 20, which is your check for understanding quiz. That reflection question is like the other ones that we've done so far, where I'm giving you sentence structures for you to use, and then you add your thoughts and evidence based on the sentence structures that I give you. This check for understanding quiz, it is 7 questions, but actually is only being graded out of 5. So there are a couple bonus questions, extra little cushion in there for you. Hopefully you can do well. Another reminder for the Kahoot assignment, as I said multiple times, please put your last name, comma, first name, or initial when you're assigning into that Kahoot assignment. I have been removing anyone who does not follow these instructions because I do not have time to figure out who little baby 666 is or who old Mikey is. Okay, I need to know who your name is. I need to know exactly what your name is. That will make it way easier for me to grade. So go and check and see if you've been removed because you didn't follow that instruction. Sorry. All right, we're continuing to work through the first phenomena and hopefully answering this question: where does all the energy and matter in the universe come from? So before we get started on this lesson, let's start with this. What is filling your tank today? What is draining your tank today? So for example, things that were filling my tank today, I got to see some friends yesterday that I don't regularly see, and the sun is shining. Things that are draining, I didn't sleep super great, and I'm not looking forward to having to sit inside and work all day. So what is filling your tank and what is draining your tank? Great. So now what needs to happen, we need to go to your week 4 assignments. You need to go to number 18, which is the changes to matter and energy notes. You're going to open that up in Google Classroom, and it will look something like this. We're going to start by just opening up the document that has the template for how you're going to take notes. I'm going to explain what this other link is after about 10 minutes. Once you have opened that document, it should look like this. This document is where you're going to record your notes, unless you are someone that likes to write them out, in which case you are welcome to draw it out on your own piece of paper. You'll just need to make sure that you snap a photo after you're done and upload it when you turn the assignment in. We're going to follow through slides and write down some notes in each of these boxes about each of these different types of reactions. So before we begin, why do we take notes? So first of all, there's research to show that you'll remember far more if you write things down and record notes, as opposed to just listening or reading them. And secondly, I like having you guys take notes because then you have the resource for you to use later. While we take our notes, some note-taking strategies, because can be really, really overwhelming to try and have to write every single little thing down that a teacher puts up. But some strategies to help that be easier for you is to use abbreviations, so shorten words. For example, I oftentimes, instead of writing out and, use the and symbol or a slash. By using bullet organization to keep your thoughts and your notes organized. Caveman language means to kind of shorten it up and get rid of any extra words that you may not need. By creating lists, by shortening word phrases down into more simple terms, or straight up putting things in your own words. That's a great way for you to synthesize the notes that you're taking. So to help you take these notes, what I'm going to do is kind of to help you understand and to practice realizing what exactly is the important information from a note slide. What I have done is I've taken a big note slide and I have underlined the key ideas that you need to write down. So the first thing that you need to write down is actually going to go above the chart with the columns, but actually it's going to go where it says law of conservation of energy. That is at the top of your document. What the law of conservation of energy states is that in a chemical reaction or physical process, energy can be converted from one form to another, but it will not be created or destroyed. The amount of energy at the beginning of the reaction is going to be the same as it is at the end. You're just maybe going to have some different types of energy. Now, that's a lot to write out, but what you need to write down are these key thoughts. I, again, got rid of some of the extra stuff that you don't necessarily need. What you'll be writing down is the things that are underlined. So energy cannot be created or destroyed. That should be one bullet point. You should then also write in another bullet point, the amount of energy at the beginning, and you could even cut of the reaction, is the same at the end. Types of energies may be different. So please record this first part now. Great. So you should have written up here at the top where it says law of conservation of energy. You should have written those underlined notes right there. Now, what we're going to do so that you guys kind of understand how the notes work before you do the chemical and nuclear reaction sections on your own, we're going to go through and do the physical change section together. You're going to continue to write down what is underlined, and you are going to, we're going to go down the column. So we're starting at the top. The next slide will go with the one next below it, etc. So first of all, a physical change by definition is when a form of matter is changed, but the substance itself is not changed into anything new. You might change the size or the shape of matter, but no chemical reaction is occurring to form any new substances. So again, this was a lot. And instead of having you even just write down the underlined things, I just straight up copied and put this in that top box. So you already have your definition there. Good job. So next, moving down the column to the next box that should be labeled on the left with what conditions are necessary, a physical change will happen when you change the temperature, causing a phase change. So if you heat something up, it might cause it to melt or boil, or if you cool something down, it might cause it to freeze. Or condense. It happens when substances are mixed together, when things are mixed, or when you just change the outward physical appearance, like we see here, chopping. So what you need to write down in that second box are the underlined statements. Great. Moving down to the third box. How much energy is released? So in a physical change, really pretty much no energy is released. It might take a little bit of energy to change the phases of matter, and energy might be lost as you change the matter or gained as you have to change the matter, but it's not releasing huge amounts of energy, as we'll see might occur in a chemical change, and definitely occurs in a nuclear change. So write down the underlined statements in that box. Next, how do we know it occurs? What is the evidence to tell us that a physical change has happened? So we should be down in the next box. You're writing down the underlined phrases. So the evidence of a physical change is when you see a phase change, when you see the size or shape of a substance change, when you see substances being mixed together, with no new chemical products being formed. That's the key thing. If you mix things together and some new substance is made, then that's probably going to be a chemical change. But if you just mix two things together and it's still separated, so for example, if you mix together sugar and water, okay, You mix those two things together, but you still have sugar and water. So that is a physical change. And the other key thing here is that a physical change can most oftentimes be reversed. So going to that example again of sugar and water, if I boil off the water and collect that evaporated water and then have my sugar, I still have sugar and water, right? They are no longer mixed together. It can be reversed. So again, write down the underlined statements in the next box for evidence. Great. Next down the line is where does it occur? Physical changes will occur when there is a temperature change, when you're mixing, or when there is an outward appearance that is changed. So record those underlined statements next. Great. So now what I want you guys to think about are what are some examples of physical changes that you can think of right now? So some common examples that you might have come up with or that you may have noticed before are crushing a can, melting anything, particularly an ice cube, boiling water, mixing sand and water, breaking something like breaking glass, dissolving sugar or salt into water. So anytime you dissolve anything, making Kool-Aid, tough to break it to you, it's a physical change. Shredding paper or cutting your hair, chopping wood, mixing things together like green marbles and red marbles, or mixing together dry ingredients if you're baking a cake. And then the sublimation of dry ice is essentially when you have the dry ice and it turns in directly from that solid into the gas steam thing that comes off. Great. So those were some examples that you guys might want to include in that final box. So what's going to happen now, you're going to finish out your notes on your own using the self-guided Pear Deck. You find the self-guided Pear Deck by clicking on the other link in the assignment, okay? So to kind of just show you what that looks like, again, over here, we have our document for our notes, and we have our sign in to the presentation, okay? That presentation, again, is self-guided for you to go through and add your notes. If you missed something the first time, you can go back through the physical change. But the big thing is then you're going to be adding to your graphic organizer the chemical change and then the nuclear change information. All right. After you finish taking those notes, you have 2 short assignments to wrap up the week. Those assignments are number 19, the reflection question. And again, the reflection question is set up just like it has been the last couple weeks, where I have 4 sentence starters that you need to use to respond and answer the question that I present to you. The other thing is our number 20, check for understanding quiz. Great. So I hope you guys are feeling good. I will see you again on Tuesday. Leave me with a thumbs up, thumbs middle, thumbs down, how you're feeling after this lesson. Thanks, y'all. Have a great day.